I'm sorry, somebody's asked a question. What is the question? No, no, that is data doesn't go to the search head. Now, the data is residing on the indexers, and the users, whenever they file a query, it will the query will first come to the search head, and the search head will, interact with the indexers and then get the job. Whenever they get the result set, it will collect it from all the indexers and then show it to the user. Yeah. Yes. You don't analyze the data. Searchers will do that for you. So searchers will, yeah. So if you see if you follow the string, this data will be copied everywhere. One, two, three indexers, right? So three indexers copied the data, which is uh, everywhere. Everyone has data, but not everybody have same data. If this one goes down, if this one goes down, then only this one will have the data. So that's why search it has to manage all the indexers and it has to see whatever data you are getting that has to be unique. But it cannot have duplicate data either. So that's why. So it controls the indexers. Internal connections, no, they do not interact with each other. But yeah, so when the forwarders will send the data. You don't have to share the data because forwarders are already copying the data to each other. Why do you need the data? Why do you need to copy the data? The forwarder is already sending the data, right? So you don't need to copy the data. Here,
Hello.
yeah,
I had a small question.
sure.
You said that I mean, as you said that I mean, forwarder will take the log files from the system, right?
Mhm.
I
Yes,
mean, if we take the log files from Kaushik, we need to have Splunk app in both Kaushik system and and my system.
yes, but it should be different because depending on the requirement. If you're taking the log file and not doing anything from in Koshik's machine, then you only need the universal forwarder. Okay.
Only forward.
Uh, Yeah, you do not need anything on universal. I mean, you just need the universal forwarder. But if you want to parse the data, then you might need heavy forwarder.
For initial forward, there's one for the heavy forward.
Universal forwarder will not do anything. It's just I got the data, I send you the data. That's the motive. But for heavy forwarders, they will say, okay, I got the data, but I want to, I don't want to give you so much burden. So I will do the initial parsing. I will do the initial indexing and send you the data. So that is how they work. But heavy forwarder is, of course, since it has to do the parsing and indexing, so it will be a little heavyweight because it will have a lot of components. But universal forwarder is very lightweight, and of course, license is not as much as heavy forwarders. So most of the time, if you do not need the data to be parsed or indexed initially before coming to the indexer, it's better to use universal forward. So data is getting indexed in the I showed you the data. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. in universal forwarder, whenever you get the data from the systems, you do not parse it. You do not do anything. You just get the data in right hand. You get send it to the indexer through left hand, right? You do not do anything. But in heavy forwarders, it's almost like the indexers. It's just that it does the initial parsing. I mean, there are a couple of internal things and in Splunk that the heavy forwarders do, like parsing and initial indexing of the table. So they do it and then they send it to the indexer. All the difference in terms of performance is in case of universal forwarder, everything is done on the indexer and indexers will get heavily loaded. But in case of heavy forwarders, indexers will be less burdened because heavy forwarder is already doing the job, half job before sending the data to indexers. Clear? Sure? Clear? Any doubt? Or any other question? Mhm. Yeah, that's just if you want to upload a any file by yourself manual process. And monitor is if you want to monitor any uh, in your system, if you want to monitor any location and have a real-time update. So that's what monitor does. And forwarder is for third party. Upload is just a manual process. I mean, if in case you want to manually upload it, that is it. And in our examples, mostly we'll be using the will we try to upload the files because monitoring even though we can monitor, but sometimes Splunk trial version doesn't support it. And anyway, you're getting the same log files, so we'll be uploading the custom log files. But sometimes we need to we need to get we need to tweak the data and then see what is the difference with the old data and the new data. So sometimes we need to change the data, and so it's better to use manual instead of automated system.
Hello.
Yeah.
Here in Indexer we have three Splunks. Is there any connection between the three?
Like I said, you need a connection with it. Before it's
We need to
just
have.
different indexers, just different indexers. Forwarders will not will copy the data from in indexer 1, 2, and 3, and then you have the same data in all the indexers. It's just for the high availability. There is a term called a high. I'll write it down here. High availability. Okay. Uh, availability. Okay. So the forwarders replicate data uh, to more than one indexes. But you can, but this is configurable. Okay. It is configurable that how many indexers you want the data to be copied to. You, even though we have three indexers here, it doesn't mean that the forwarders always copy the data to three indexes. It may or may not copy to three indexes. You can configure that. But yeah, indexes, to answer your question straightforward, indexes do not share data between each other. Uh, it will only get the data from the forwarders and it will index it and store it with them until your time has come. So now I'm not sure if I covered that in the last class, but if not, I'll cover it, or otherwise I'll reiterate. So there is one thing called and if you remember yesterday we talked about index, right? So now you may ask me the question that how long an index stores the data? How long does an index store the data? So normally, Splunk, I said, it's for a big data, and it gives a lot of data every day. Because to me, the environment I work in, we have around 500 GB per day coming in.